Hey everyone, it's Vintage Poke Openings here. Hope you're all having a great day. I know that typically this channel is all about opening vintage Pokemon products, but we're going to switch things up a little bit today and open a piece of vintage Yu-Gi-Oh memorabilia. You might be asking yourself, well, why are we doing this? In all honesty, when I was younger, not only did I collect a lot of Pokemon cards, but my brother and I may have even been bigger Yu-Gi-Oh collectors. Some of that is in relation to the fact that we were a little bit older when we started collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! We had more resources at our disposal, so we were able to get more packs. We were able to preserve the cards better. We knew how to play the trading card game. We were a little bit older than when we collected Pokemon, and we were really young kids, and we didn't really know what we were doing. So I have a very large vintage Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection. And what we're going to be looking at today is the special edition Rise of Destiny box. Now, for those of you who watch my channel and are only familiar with Pokemon, I'll give you a little bit of context as to what this is. So what I consider to be classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Are the first 14 sets ever released. That would be Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon all the way up through the Flaming Eternity set. That would encompass 14 sets across the years 2002 to 2005. After that, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX came out, and that was kind of when my brother and I dropped out of the hobby. So I don't have any cards from that era, but the first 14 sets is what we primarily collected. Rise of Destiny is the 13th set, and this was one of a few sets, Invasion of Chaos being another, which is what this card is from. Rise of Destiny is one of a few sets that did these special edition boxes, where you got 3 first edition booster packs and what's called a variant card, a limited edition card included in the box. So I went ahead and picked one of these up because I was kind of having the itch to open some vintage Yu-Gi-Oh products. I had been watching videos online of like Ruxin34, and I think there was a channel literally called Vintage Yu-Gi-Oh. I was watching them online, and I just kind of got the urge to open up some vintage Yu-Gi-Oh again. And in all honesty, vintage Yu-Gi-Oh is much cheaper than vintage Pokemon is. Well, I shouldn't say much cheaper, but it definitely is cheaper. So I said, why don't we take a look at this and see what we can do? Now, if we look at the back here, like I said, it comes with 3 first edition booster packs as well as a variant card. The 4 variant cards that you can pull out of this box would be Dark Magician Girl, Diffusion Wave Motion, I believe Statue of Anubis, and then also Vampire Lord. I have 3 of those 4 from my childhood collection. I have Dark Magician Girl, Vampire Lord, and Diffusion Wave Motion. So whatever this card ends up being, I would prefer it to be one of 2. Dark Magician Girl is by far the most valuable. It's about 600 in a PSA 10. But I do not have Statue of Anubis in my collection. So if I could get one of those 2, I would be very happy. Move this off to the side. Dark Magician Girl was previously in, I think, Magician's Force. In fact, all of those cards were previously in other sets, but this is a limited edition version of that card that you get in here. So let's take a look and see which one we pulled. Ooh, and we got Vampire Lord. So that's a pretty cool one there. Now, just to give some of you people who are familiar with Pokemon a little bit of context, typically how it works in Yu-Gi-Oh, or at least how it worked in vintage Yu-Gi-Oh, was every pack had a rare card, and that was considered a non-holo. But you had the chance to pull also a super rare, an ultra rare, or a secret rare. Now, whereas in Pokemon, your odds of pulling a specific holo card are the same, meaning if you had a heavy booster pack and you wanted to pull a Charizard and there were 16 holos in the set, every heavy pack you opened would have a 1 in 16 chance of pulling that Charizard. It's not the same for Yu-Gi-Oh! Different rarity levels have different odds of being pulled. So like super rare, I don't remember exactly, but it was like you had like a 1 in 4 chance of pulling a super rare, like a 1 in 12 chance of an ultra rare, and then like a 1 in 24 chance of a secret rare. Rise of Destiny doesn't have any secret rares, but it does have some super rares. It has, I think, 4 ultra rares, and all of the rare cards can also be pulled in what's called an ultimate rare variety. So if we could get 1 ultimate rare today, that would be really awesome, but I'd take some ultras as well. All right, so our first card here is Mirage Dragon, and you'll notice with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the first edition stamp is right here. And then this right here tells you what set it is. So you can see it says RDS, which stands for Rise of Destiny, and then EN, which stands for English, and 027, which means it's the 27th card in the set. So that's how you knew what set it was, as well as what language the card was, because there were different varieties of like English, Korean, Spanish Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so they had the language designation there as well. Raging Flame Sprite. Xing Zhen Hu. This is a trap card. Rock from the Valley of Haze. Oh, and we start off with a super rare right off the bat. It's a holo, Divine Wrath. So this is a trap card, which not going to get too deep into the minutia of how you play Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's a whole video in itself. But trap cards were kind of like cards you could play if your opponent happened to perform an action and, you know, maybe it destroyed one of their monsters or whatever the case is. There's a lot of different trap card varieties, but here you can see it says discard one card from your hand, negate the activation and the effect of an effect monster, and destroy the monster. So that is really cool. I'm going to go ahead and slip that in a sleeve right away. And you might be asking yourself, how do I know it's a super rare? Well, if it's a standard rare, then it wouldn't have been a holofoil, and the text that says Divine Wrath would have been silver, okay? Super rares are going to have holofoil, like you see here, but the text is going to be standard white text. If it was an ultra rare, it would have been holographic and the text would have been gold. And then if it was an ultimate rare, the holofoil kind of would have like encompassed the entire card. It's hard to explain unless you've seen one. Hopefully we'll pull one in one of our next two packs here and I'll be able to point that out. All right, so we have Pitch Black Warwolf, Fruits of Kozaki's Studies, Harpy Lady 1, and Astral Barrier. So awesome to pull a holo out of our first pack there. Hopefully we can have the same luck in the next few. All right, so for pack number 2, we have Mind Hexors, I believe I'm saying that correctly, Harpy's Hunting Ground, excuse me, Element Magician, Tactical Espionage Expert. Okay, so this would be an instance of a pack that is just a standard rare. So you can see it's not holo, and the text is silver, if you can see up at the top there. And this is what's called a magic card. They had to change it to be spell cards, but I'm obviously vintage Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'm always going to call it a magic card. But that is the rare for this set. So Serial Spell non-holo. Then we get another Harpy Lady 1, Bokoichi the Frightening Car, Heavy Mech Support Platform, and then another Astral Barrier. So you'll notice these two monster cards here, one is kind of a light brown, whereas the other one is like a darker brown. Light brown cards or monsters, those are just standard monsters, whereas ones with the dark brown are effect monsters. Like you can see, this monster is quite a detailed effect down there at the bottom. So some monsters were standard and some actually had a special effect that you could activate. All right, so let's see if we can get lucky and maybe pull an ultimate or ultra rare in this last pack. So we have Tactical Espionage Expert, Harpy Lady 2, Creeping Doom Manta, Back to Square One Magic card, and we got Dekoichi the Battle Chanted Locomotive. So that's our rare for this set, or for this pack, I should say. Then we have Malice Dispersion, Invasion of Flames, Foxfire, and Ballista of Rampart Smashing. So just to recap, we got 2 holos out of this, the limited edition Vampire Lord, and then the super rare Divine Wrath. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this opening today. If you're not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, hopefully you learned a little bit about it today. And if you are familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, let me know if you'd like me to open other vintage Yu-Gi-Oh products in the future. So thanks again for tuning into the channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you can, and have a good rest of your day.